MattExcursion, and I'm back from the DMZ. I got some North Korean wine, and I got some North Korean wine with Kim Il-sung on the cover. Do you have North Korean money? No, you probably don't. So, now I'm going to tell you all about the DMZ tour. First, you're probably wondering where Patrick is. Patrick is in a re-education camp. As you may or may not know, he's from East Germany, and during the tour, he was talking to a Chinese lady in Chinese while pointing all over the place, so he was detained. So he should be out soon. He'll probably be in the next episode, but that's why he is not in the review of the DMZ tour. First, the company we took is VIP Travel. It's a very original name. VIP Travel. You will feel like a very important person when you go to see North Korea. So, it runs out of Seoul. If you're taking a DMZ tour, you'll probably have to go from Seoul or one of the military bases. We get to the tour. It's an English tour. There's people from all over the world on the tour. We get on the bus, start going, like a normal bus ride, and then the tour guide starts talking. The tour guide he had big glasses, and he seemed like someone out of a propaganda film. He was in love with the president of South Korea, which is very rare. He's actually the first person who I've met who liked her. But he was in love with her, and one of the reasons why he loved her is, first, because she's single. Second, because he is very hard on North Korea. She doesn't give Kim Jong-un whatever he wants. So that's why he liked her, because she was very tough on North Korea, and she wanted to stick at North Korea. He's also he was a comedian of some sorts. I guess tour guides are all comedians. They have their jokes that they tell every day. One of his jokes was about Sky University. Sky is the top engineering university in Korea. The joke goes, want to go to Sky? Sleep over 3 to 4 hours. Don't apply. So, anyways, besides for his jokes, he was very informative. He was able to talk about a lot of subtle things that you see in Korea that you might not notice otherwise. First, in Seoul, in the subway system, there are gas masks. The reason why there are gas masks is because there's an attack. Another thing about the Seoul subway system, which extends to many other cities, is that the stations are large. They're really large. There's huge walkways, and there's usually an underground mall. The reason why they're so big and such an extensive amount of underground tunnels is because subways double as bomb shelters. So there are 3,919 official underground shelters in Korea. Another thing is in northern Seoul and on the way to North Korea, there's giant concrete advertisements because the concrete advertisements double as anti-tank walls. So they would blow up the advertisements, concrete would go down, and tanks cannot pass through on that road. As we were going further north, so in Seoul, there's minor things. If you can read in Korean, you can tell, oh, this is a bomb shelter, or these gas masks are in case we're gassed. But as you go further north, there's a small barbed wire fence, continuous. It goes on and on, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The reason why it starts all the way in Seoul and goes all the way to the border is because North Koreans have dug tunnels and they have tried to sneak into the south. So the fence has chips in them so they can detect anyone, and there's also a lot of guard towers. So this has become bigger, and at first it just looks like a fence, but then it becomes really fortified fence, and then you see all the posts. So it has a little bit of a feel of a war zone. Once you go off the interstate and you go into the last city, which is Paju, there's tanks, and the tanks are facing the road. They're behind bunkers, so they're ready for any attack. So that's another thing. I've never been driving on a street and see tanks pointing towards the road. And before we went to the civilian control area, we went to Imjin-gak. I butchered the name in the video, but it's Imjin-gak. Imjin-gak is a park, and I'm just going to refer to it as Bizarro World, because when you're going in, there's an amusement park. It was really lively, and in the mall, they're blaring pop music from the 80s, and there was a Popeye's chicken, so it was like an awesome place. Like, it was a place you'd go on a date. Yeah, let's go and have some Popeye's chicken and listen to some pop music. So that's what that area is like. It's really festive. But across the parking lot is the Freedom Bridge, where 13,000 POWs were exchanged at the end of the Korean War. And there it's really sad. There's really old, depressing music playing. People are putting up messages towards their loved ones that are maybe lost in the war or maybe still in North Korea. So it's really sad, and one side of the parking lot is happy, the other side is sad. So if you're bipolar, then it's perfect. So if you're feeling happy, you can go to the happy side. If you're feeling sad, maybe go to the sad side. There's also a train that shot up. So that place, I would recommend going just to see the contrast, and you don't need to go on a tour to go there. To go to the next place, you do need a tour. The Civilian Control Zone, which South Koreans can't go into unless they have special permission or if they're in the military and they're stationed there. So there we went to Camp Boniface, and in the area, the video is actually not very good because a lot of there's no pictures allowed in the area. You couldn't take videos, so I have very limited footage from there. But Camp Boniface, it's base, it's the northernmost base, and it's completely protected. There we were shown a PowerPoint. We learned a bit of history about the DMZ zone. One thing that happened was an axe murder that happened in 1976. Before the axe murder, watch posts were all over the place from both countries. And one day in 1976, a North Korean came and he axed an American to death. A giant brawl started, and the guy with the axe killed someone else. So crazy scene. And later in the 80s, there was a defector from the Soviet Union. So North Korea has the same tour, so of their side of the DMZ. Well, during one of their tours, someone from the DMZ, someone from Soviet Union, ran across to the South Korean side, and a firefight broke out. 3 North Koreans died and 1 South Korean died. So that, and then a lot of other things have happened in the DMZ area. So there's a lot of tension. On the way to the joint security area, there's 2 propaganda villages. One is the South Korean one, and the other is the North Korean one. The reason for the South Korean one is because the village was always there, and it just happened to be located where the agreed demilitarized zone would be. So I have that, and then North said, well, if you guys have a village here, then we have to have a village. So they built a village where all the buildings are fake. The windows are painted in, so they're not real windows, and the doors are painted in, just paint. So not even like a movie set, they just make a painted windows. And when the South Korean side put up a flag, it was 120 meters tall. Then the North Koreans put up a flag that was 160 meters tall. So a bit of a dick measuring contest. So wherever South Korea builds, and North Korea will just build one, build it bigger. Also, the joint security area, there's 2 big buildings, the South Korean building and the North Korean building. The North Korean building was first, so they built theirs. Then South Korea built theirs. South Korean one was bigger, so North Koreans added an extra floor to their building. And that was the end. So it would be, I actually wish that South Korea would do the same thing, and then we would have like the 2 tallest buildings in the world right next to each other. So that would be cool, but it didn't happen. So North Korea did it, and then South Korea was like, okay, we're done with this. So anyways, we get to the joint security area. First we go to the conference room, which is where the North and South Koreans have their talks. So whenever there's problems, They have meetings there, and when there's not meetings, then tourists like myself go and see it. You can't touch anything, of course. Like it's just a bad idea. Like maybe I have my chip and then I slip it under for the North Koreans, and then they watch it, and then they see my awesome videos. Maybe I did that. But anyways, you can't touch anything. You can make videos in the conference room, which I did. There's the South Korean soldiers with their helmets and their taekwondo stances. You can't touch them. They're sort of like the people in front of Buckingham House where they don't budge no matter what you do. I wasn't an asshole. I wasn't trying to wave in front of them. No one in the group was waving in front of them. That could probably get us kicked out. So you can get kicked out for anything. And actually, before the tour, we had to wait. The tour guide said there was a 5% chance that it would be canceled just because anything. So maybe the North Korean guards look angry that day, and then okay, we shouldn't have the tour today. So there's that, and guards look pretty serious. We were able to take footage of the North Korean side, so I have the picture of the North Korean guard. If you see in the video, he looks like Bigfoot. He's really blurry. He's just standing there watching us. Also in the window, which you couldn't really see in any of the pictures, but there's a guy pulling the curtains aside and staring with binoculars. So it is a really surreal scene, and just the fact that the official border between North and South Korea is a little concrete slab. So it's a little white slab, so you can just hop across if you wanted. If you wanted to be a little bit more risky than myself. Well, anyways, got back to the gift shop, got this wine. Patrick was detained, so I already drank his bottle. What this tastes like is, it's only 16% alcohol, but it tastes like it was like 80% alcohol. It has a really, really rough taste. It's 16% strong for wine, but it's just a really, really rough taste. There's not a cork. It's just twist top. So I had some of Patrick's, and maybe I'll save this for a hot date or something. Maybe I'd want to never talk to that girl again. I'll be like, I have this wine. You should try it. And then she'll try it, and she'll never come back. So, and then also this money. I'm not sure if this is their actual currency, then this is the worst currency I've ever touched. It feels like paper. It feels like notebook paper. Like a white sheet of paper. So this is, it looks, it's purple, but I got a paper cut earlier when I tried to pick it up. So this is North Korean currency. Whenever the tour bus got back, there was a demonstration going on, so that was pretty cool. I didn't join it because I didn't know what they were protesting, and everyone was pretty old, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see a demonstration going on. But anyways, that's the review of the DMZ tour. If you're in Korea, I definitely recommend doing it. I was not disappointed, and it's one of the only places in the world where you can have a tour that has, in like modern day, where it has that really weird Cold War tension where there's nothing going on, but like if you do something stupid, maybe I want to flip off the North Korean yard, then shit would go down. So it's the only place in the world like that. I don't know any other place where it's a heavily fortified border, but you have tours, like there's tourists going there every day, unless there's something in the news, then it's canceled. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy the video, then subscribe and check out my other videos.